This is J.P. Bang Music.
Suck it up, boy. You know. Suck it up, boy. You know.
Thank you. Welcome everybody to Straight from the Horse's Mouth, where we give you the real perspective on recruiting and the process of getting into college from a football standpoint. Today, my special guest is a really, really good friend of mine. I've been knowing him for over a decade. Coach Lyvell Jackson from Minnesota State University, Mankato, one of the top defense coordinators in the Division II. We're going to talk about himself, talk about his school, talk about the process of getting into a school and how things work, and then we'll talk about a little bit more about the recruiting process, and we'll get really more specific into there. But right now, I'd like to bring on Lyvell Jackson. My man, I can't say enough about this guy. First of all, great human being. That's number one. Number two, great coach. Like I said, he's one of the top coaches in Division II. Minnesota State Mankato is one of the top Division II programs in the nation, bar none. They've been there for the last several years. This guy's been spearheading the defense on that side, helped spearhead in recruiting, and I think a lot of their success attributes to, I think, his personality and the attitude he brings. Because every time I talk to him, the brother's bubbly, positive, gives me the real deal. We can talk shop about football, talk about what's going on in the world, but most important, beyond all that, he's a great human being, and I want to make sure he gets the opportunity to introduce himself, and then we can go through the steps from there. Please, Coach, go ahead.
First and foremost, thanks for having me. It's awesome that you gave me this platform to be able to come on your show and talk a lot about ball, right? But like you said, my name's Lyvell Jackson. Originally born and raised, Chicago, Illinois, Harvey, suburb of Chicago. Been in Minnesota State now. This is going on year 8. Just wrapped up year 7. We were in the Final Four. Close to making it to the national championship, but we've had plenty of success here. Grateful for the opportunity to be here, be at a program at an institution like Minnesota State. Like you can't ask for a better spotlight, right? And we got kids from all across, man. They come in and they want to win. That's one of the reasons why we get so many.
Yeah, you've been a little bit humble about winning. I think you guys have been the last 4 out of 5 years you've been number one in your conference, the number one team in your conference, and you guys have also been top seed, right?
That's a Oh that's attributed to one, our head football coach, Coach Todd Hoffner. He's been here since 2008, and it just seems like all he does is win, right? But it's the culture that he brings around here that really enhances. For guys like myself, Coach Taylor, who's the other co-defensive coordinator, who you know and Coach Henning, right? He's our offensive line coach. He played for Coach Hoffner, right? He came back to coach. He's offensive line coach, run game coordinator. Coach Schlichty, who's our offensive coordinator, who also played for Coach Hoffner. So you see a lot of guys who understand what the culture is, right? And then they give back into it, right? So
Yeah.
that's all it is. Coach Hoffner does an awesome job at everything he does here, which makes us who we are.
Let's pull that onion back a little bit. The culture. Now, culture for the locals is different. They understand it. But bring in those freshmen outside or those JC transfers from the outside, understanding Minnesota State Mankato culture. Explain how that is and how you're able to have these kids adjust to what you guys are doing.
Well, we got a slogan here, right? It's called "Make the Journey." Right? We gotta make sure we're gonna want to know everything that we do. It's all about the process that leads to the product and the things that how we go about business. Right? We make sure we take care of business on and off the field. It's not just going out there and perfecting the plays and winning ball games. We got a 3.26 team GPA. All right. So we're taking care of business regardless. So if you step foot on campus here at Minnesota State, it's not playtime. It's not, especially like if you're a transfer, you're coming from another program, a Division One, another Division Two, whatever the case may be. Whatever happened over there, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, when you step foot on the Minnesota State University's campus, it's go time, right? And
Yeah,
everything needs to be treated like that.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Getting acclimated to you guys' program, because like you said, coming from traditional, some people come from traditional either D1, traditional losing programs.
Hmm.
You guys identify talent in them, and you guys bring them in. That shock, right? Because you guys run things differently over there. Tell me about that initial shock and what these guys are going through in order to get acclimated right away.
And here's the thing about that shock, quote unquote, right? It's
Mm,
not necessarily the shock that we bring, it's the shock that they see everybody else that's around them, right? Their
mm,
peers, the guys that they're gonna be the buy-in and the amount of respect for what we do at Minnesota State, which, either you're gonna fall in line with what we do and who we are, or you're gonna get left in the dust, right? And
mm,
that's just, it's not saying it to be mean, because everybody has, situations and stuff that they come from and things that they're a part of or whatnot. But like I keep saying, you come to Minnesota State, you are buying into the culture of what we do. And you're not just coming to win football games, you're coming to win at life.
yeah, that's powerful. Um, two things. Two things. So I want to talk about development because you got a
Okay.
few guys that's in the league. You got a few guys that's in the league, and I want you to talk
We
about
got a
that
couple.
development. Yeah, I know. I want to talk about that, the development, the guys you got in the league, and then I also want to talk about also how you guys are able to sustain players. Because a lot of guys, you don't see a lot of guys from Minnesota State jumping into the portal.
Yep.
You guys are one of the lowest percentage in your conference that are guys that are like leaving, exiting to go find a new home. People are staying with you guys. So I want you to talk about the development and how you're able to maintain kids from all over the world, all over the country to stay in you guys' program.
I think when players, first and foremost, they see the winning, right? They see the things that come along with it. We've been to, we went to the national championship in 2014, we went to the national championship in 2019. We've been to a couple Final Fours. We won a lot of regional championships. They see that part of it. So when they're getting recruited and they start coming in, right, they can understand, all right, this is the tradition. This is what it is. And then I think it's a testament to the brotherhood that those guys have, right? Like, yeah,
Mm,
we give them the encouragement, we give them the things and the tools so that they can maintain some similar of success. But that brotherhood that they all have, and wanting to play for each other and play together and do the things that needs to be done, man, it's you know it ain't too many places like it. There ain't too many guys like it, right?
mhm,
And so when you start talking about that portal stuff, yeah, every now and then we'll have a couple who want to try to test their abilities or whatnot. We had one who test his abilities and realized Minnesota State is home, and he came back,
mm,
right?
mm.
So it's one of those deals where you buy into who we are, and it becomes who you are.
Yeah, that the process and the tone that you guys have set as a staff and as a community and as a school. And a lot's based around the football program. I mean, you guys got other winning
Yep.
programs, but that football program is very, very special, and everyone knows it. And especially me having a relationship, being in Minnesota a lot, with my son playing at a different
Hmm.
school, I was able to see the difference between the universities. Right? You got Duluth,
Yeah.
who used to be that. Duluth used to be that.
Yep.
Duluth in the earlys used to be that to set the standard, and somehow
That's still a really
that
that's still a really solid football
that, no,
program.
no, that's still no, that's still relevant. Don't get me wrong. I'm not down in Duluth at all. I think Duluth is a very great competitive program. They do their thing. They're awesome. I think Augustana's also been kind of following you guys' mantra. They're starting to set their tone, being the powerhouse.
Yep.
Bemidji State has set a tone. Now where they're at,
Yep.
Winona has set a tone. Sioux Falls has set a tone with staff from you guys that migrated over there. They've set a new
Yep.
stone. I just found it, but you guys have not wilted in any of that. Like no matter if they come up, come down, no matter you guys are staying steady, consistent, winning. And I think that's
Yep.
just that's just the tone you guys set with you guys in school and your community. Development, though, let's talk about development because people get they get a misconception of Division II football. They really do.
Yep.
People have a misconception of Division two football. The development you guys have had, guys going to the NFL? I mean, I think the last 4 years, 5 years, there's somebody going. And I think you guys had a guy that was drafted, not only. And the quality of you guys play, scouts are at you guys' practices all the time, looking for talent from Minnesota State in particular.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I
so
mean, we get it. We're fortunate, right? We're fortunate to be able to be surrounded by a lot of talented football players, right? A lot of our guys come from this Midwest region, and every now and then we'll get a guy from a junior college here, and we've had success out in the California JUCOs, and but it's just a matter of, like I said, buying into it and then understanding that you're not perfect, you're not going to be perfect, but you can strive to be in that relentless pursuit of it, right?
mhm.
And I think you got guys, Adam Thielen, right, Chris Reed, Shane Zylstra, those three guys are mainstays right there in the NFL. But we talked about this past year we had Trey Vobble, who played corner for
Yeah.
me, was an awesome, outstanding return guy, right? He was All American, and he had a shy little stint with the Falcons or whatnot, and he's still striving to get back into it or whatever. And we got Elijah McGee, who had also had a little bit of stint with the Atlanta Falcons, who's playing in the CFL and is balling. Right,
Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't be surprised if that guy got picked up again by somebody's team. And then we got a couple guys coming up. You got Marshall Forner, who All American offensive tackle, who Coach Hennon did an unbelievable job with, and that kid is absolutely brilliant. He's smart and he's tough, and he's got some physicalness to him. You got Maven Crutchy, who's gonna get somebody's look, right? He's big, 6'4", 270-pound defensive end who can go, right? And then you got Kai West, who he's an honorable mention All American for me. He played corner, and he's a dude, right? So
Yeah.
you talk about development. It's them understanding and trying to buy in and understand the craft of what we're trying to teach. And it's not one of those deals where it's going to be an instant gratification, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
an instant thing. It's you getting after it every single day and not letting up, right? And that's one of the things that us as coaches, we're always striving to do. Like we're never resting on our laurels, right? Yeah, we win
Yeah.
football games, but it's a reason why we win football games. It's because we get after it every single day, coaches and players.
Yeah, you guys have set up a competitive environment where kids are competing
Yeah,
every day, working hard every day,
every
striving
day.
to be better every day, and from your program, from me looking on the outside in, rewarded. And what I mean by rewarded, they're rewarded with time on the field, get an opportunity to play on the field. Because you guys do multiple sets all the time. You guys are all constantly rotating, almost at
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of positions. May not every position, but a lot of positions are always rotating. Fresh guys in, guys
I'd
getting a
say
chance to
every
showcase their
position.
talent. Yeah. So you guys are rotating, rewarding them. I know you guys are rewarding them, off the field. You guys are rewarding them with scholarship opportunities and money. You guys are rewarding them in the community. I really admire what that's been built, and I think a lot of emphasis is never built on community. Like we talk about schools and coaches, but that
Yep.
community has a strong pulse on what the football team is doing and how to help them. And when times of needs or when there isn't times of needs, they're always out there to support. Because you guys sell out your games pretty good for Division Two. You guys have really
Oh
big
yeah.
crowds.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
we got into the top three all time for home attendance a couple times this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about 7,000 plus, at a football game, and where occasionally it's standing room only, especially on those early games when it's a little bit warm, right? But
Yeah.
even when it's cold,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even when the temperature drops a little bit, the stands are still packed, right? The
Mm-hmm.
support from the community in the city of Mankato is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yep.
We're very lucky to have that.
Yeah. I think people need to realize Mankato's about 2 hours southwest, right, of or is it southeast of Minneapolis?
We're only an hour and a
Oh,
half.
hour.
Like not
Okay.
even yeah. We're about maybe it depends on who's driving, right?
Yeah.
We're just an hour, man. The Mall of America is right there. The airport's right there, so it's not far at all. You
Yeah.
can get on that 169 and be there. That
That's what I'm talking. That's what I love. Now let's get to the hard part to me. And
all
everybody's
right.
on probably a lot of they want to know about the recruiting
Okay.
process. So first we'll set it up. Let's tee it up. Current climate of recruiting with the NI with the portal and with JUCOs and with you guys and with high schools. How has that affected you guys at all? And what are your personal thoughts about
Um. So as far as you hit it on the head earlier a little bit, we rarely get guys that jump in, right?
it?
And which is a good thing. But at the same time, the climate of the portal, to me, it is what it is, right? Kind of got to go with the flow a little bit, and this is just me being raw and uncut.
Yeah,
Like if kids want to test what they need to test and go where they need to go, okay, that's fine. But understand, you got to go where you're wanted and not where you're just gonna be a number, right? And not where you're just gonna be a body. You got to go where, okay, this is somewhere where one, it feels like home. Two, they're gonna treat me the way that I would like to be treated. Three, I'm gonna play. And four, I'm gonna get, some really good relationships out of it, and then we'll win some ball games. Right?
yeah,
Um, I think a lot of emotional decisions happen
yeah,
within that transfer portal world, right? But you know, it is what it is, and this is the culture that we live in. I talk to a lot of people about it. Family members. Like I said, I got nephew. I got nephews who got into the portal and went other places, Division 1 wise, right? I've
mm,
been able to help them and navigate stuff with them, and you know, damn if you do, damn if you don't, but you got to roll
yeah.
with it.
It's to me it's an ugly beast, and the reason why, like you said, making emotional decisions is because I think kids get in there with this big expectation, and then actually you're cutting off your options. You're really cutting
Yeah.
your options because let's talk about there's 7,000 kids in the portal right now, 7,000 plus in the portal right now. At best, 400 would get out to Division 1 because there's
Yep.
only 400 spots. There's not enough room on rosters. So that leaves us now with roughly 6,600 kids in the portal. Let's say another 1,600 go throughout from Division AA, 1 AA, all the way down to Division 3. 1,600 because that's the spots that are open. We're still left
Yep.
with 5,000 kids in the portal. Um, and I think all those kids had an opportunity. They were at places to play. Now they've either played their last opportunity of football or they have nowhere to go. So I think people need to be very aware of what you do before you jump in because you're making emotional decisions where there's limited opportunity. And this is a game.
Yeah. And
Football's a game of
a lot, a
opportunities.
lot,
You got to have opportunities.
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like a lot of players, and it's not me saying that you shouldn't do it, but a lot of players bet on themselves, right? They bet on themselves, but if you're gonna do something like that, you better make sure you got a plan, right?
yeah,
Don't go.
yeah.
You can't
I
go
say
in.
you
You
said you
can't
bet on
go.
yourself. I say the game is rigged. Don't bet on the game when the game is rigged. The game is rigged. It's not for you to. The portal is not for us to be. It is for the SECs and the Power Fives. It's perfect for them because they can
Hmm.
scavenge all the talent they want. But as you get to the lower level, and everybody needs to be realistic with the talent, you're not at that level. You haven't been developed at that level yet, and you're
Hmm.
down here trying to develop. Hey, that's not the. That's not. It's rigged. It's rigged. Thousands go in, hundreds come out. You got to think and
Yeah,
put that in
yeah.
perspective.
Those are pretty bad odds. The
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The odds are so. If this is Vegas, the house is winning all day, every day, right? The house is gonna win. So I think
Yeah.
kids and parents need to really estimate what they're at and what they're doing before they jump in and have a real life assessment. Hey, I understand sometimes it's a bad relationship, sometimes not. And this excludes the grad transfers because they're in a different ball game. Grad transfers are in a
Yep.
whole different ball game than the
Yep.
common people that are in the portal. Um, when you're in there and those odds are such against you, people don't understand why they're still stuck in there and they're not able to get out. You had a
Right.
mediocre or maybe at best a little season, or you didn't even play and you're jumping in the portal. You didn't have opportunity to play at that level and you're already in the portal. Man, we're setting ourselves up to fail. And I'm particularly passionate about black and brown to get in the portal
Mm-hmm.
because the options for them are very, very limited. It's very, very limited if you don't get out. You didn't finish school. You're jumping and trying to find a team.
Mm-hmm.
No team wants you at this particular time. And if you already aspirated your JC opportunities, that's going too. So what do you do?
That's the tough spot about all this, right? And again, we talk about emotional decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not having a plan, not going through this thing and really truly thinking about it, right? And damn if you do, damn if you do. I will continue to say that about this
Yeah.
because it's good for those who the 100 that we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they get the opportunity, and if the portal didn't exist like this, then yeah, they probably would have an opportunity, but it's not wide open like it is now. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
man, it's tough to see. And we only have so many roster spots too, right?
Yes.
There's only
Mm-hmm.
so much of scholarships that can go around, and
Yeah.
it's a thousand student athletes out there that are looking for homes, and unfortunately, they're not gonna some of them aren't gonna find one, right?
Yeah. There's not going to be a
That's
home.
just
There's not going to be a home
that.
for them. Yeah, you're right.
That's the nature of it, and it sucks to think about that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like this. I'm a transfer product, right? I started my career off, my college career playing at Nebraska, Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to, be able to transfer to the University of Sioux Falls, and play for Kalen DeBoer and win a couple
Mm-hmm.
championships and all this and all that, man. But honestly, like, how many people can say that actually happens? That's very, very rare, right?
Yeah.
So to
Yep.
be able to stick it out where you're at, you know, be committed to the process and be committed
Mm-hmm.
to those that you're playing for, and you know, regardless if it's your brothers that you're playing next to or your coaches or whatever the case may be. And I understand about the whole dynamics of how everything is working these days, but it's a matter of knowing where you're at, understanding what it is and what it isn't,
Mm-hmm.
and then going forward.
Yeah. I just think the mindset of an athlete has changed. Theirs and their parents, because some of them are going in the mindset, I'm going to transfer. Right. I'm gonna go there for a year and transfer. And I think
Go there. Yeah.
to me, that's the wrong ideology to come in there. You gotta water the grass. You gotta water the grass where you had to make it greener. Greener, it ain't
We
greener on the other side.
talked about it earlier. It's instant gratification. All right.
Yes.
It's instant
Yes.
gratification, and you know we. And I hate to get philosophical on this, but we are growing up in a generation in an era where you got these things in your hands, right? And you can get something whenever you want to. Cell phones,
Mm-hmm.
tablets, you know, all this stuff like that. And if a kid has grown up with getting stuff instantaneously, it's hard for them to find that button of hard work, right? And if you gotta push for it, then it get a little stressful for you.
Yeah.
If it get a little stressful for you, you might not have that inner dog to
Mm-hmm.
be able to go get it, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times when people do transfer, that's because they don't want to compete, they don't want to fight, and if they lose the fight, then they go somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Instead of
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of being committed to the process of it.
Yeah. And I think and I also think everybody's situation is different, right? Individual situations
Oh,
are different.
absolutely, absolutely.
So on the individual is, but I like what you said at the beginning. You Before you jump into that portal, have a plan.
Yeah,
Have a plan. Like have a plan. Have a
yeah.
strategic plan what you're gonna do, and where you think you're going to be able to maneuver and go before you jump in it. Because the bottom line, we don't need 7,000 kids in the portal not being having an opportunity to play, and we already know what it does to a person if they don't play for 1 year. out of sight, out of mind, it's over. It becomes over at that point. Let's talk about you guys. How do you
All right.
approach a recruit? What is Minnesota State doing, and how do they approach landing recruits?
So we identify a lot through camps, right? Whether it be us going to a camp, seeing a kid, or them coming to our camp. Right. And obviously we'll do a lot of pre-evaluation like film wise and stuff like that. Being able to identify guys in the areas in which all of us are responsible in recruiting. Right. So we'll do all that and then we'll say, okay, start picking up the phone. Hey,
Mhm.
you be at this camp, or post it. Hey, I'm going to this camp. This camp. Are you going to be there? Stuff like that. Get it. Just start building a real personal relationship, right?
Mm,
And that's one thing about our staff is that when it comes to relationships and building that type of bond with players, like man, like I continue to put this guy over here, but Coach Hennon is awesome at that.
mm,
Awesome.
mhm,
I'm telling you, he recruits the state of Wisconsin, and he recruits it like nobody's business. Okay,
mm,
but he's not the only one on the staff that does that, right? We got multiple guys who build relationships. So you start talking about the relationship aspect, the camp aspect of it, getting them on campus, showing them all of our facilities, and getting everything like going. And kid
mhm,
walks on the campus of Minnesota State and sees the locker room, sees that lovely grass field we got at Blakesley Stadium, right? The 3 practice fields that we got. I mean, we start talking about our basketball facilities, and we got the men and women just won a national championship last season for basketball.
mhm.
All right. So it's not just football that takes care of business in
Yeah,
Minnesota State. All right. So we got all across the board. Our track and field team is awesome. National champs.
yeah,
Right.
yep.
So, you start looking at the whole grand scheme of things and who Minnesota State is. When it comes to recruiting, it's when you get on campus, it's kind of a no-brainer for a kid.
Mhm. So
And
let's piggyback off of that. Let's keep rolling that momentum. Out of state kids, like how does it work for an out of state kid from a freshman to a JC transfer, and you guys to bring a guy on and the dynamics behind it? Because you broke it down the budget part to me, like how it works. I want
Mhm.
family and friends to understand how it works. So please go ahead. Just, the floor is yours.
Well, obviously, for those that don't know, there's a difference between out of state and in state tuition, right? And obviously, there's probably a higher cost for an out of state kid, especially with low academics and all that stuff like that. But, if they do have higher academics, it becomes a little bit, less costly for you,
Hmm.
right? And granted, at Division II level, we have up to a Division II team can have up to 36 scholarships, right? So we're talking about 36 scholarships, and you're fielding a team of 100. Not everybody's going to get a full ride,
Yep.
right? So you got to start factoring in that cost as well. It's like, okay, you got a guy over here from Texas, right? He has a 2.6, right? But I got a guy over here in Illinois who has a 4.0. Well, I can probably get that kid with the 4.0 from Illinois in school, and then the kid from Texas is left out to dry because he has a 2.6, right? Not saying
Hmm.
that we won't pursue it, right? But at the end of the day, it's easier to get that kid with the 4.0, from an out of state perspective than the kid with the 2.6.
Absolutely.
And we're talking
Absolutely.
we're talking about we're talking about getting kids in school. Let's not forget the fact that these are student athletes. I know we want to throw away the term student
Yeah.
athlete, but
Uh,
these kids still got to go to school, right?
hmm.
And you still and this is still college. You actually have
Yes.
to get accepted. It doesn't magically happen just because you're a football player, right? So you still
Yeah.
have to get accepted into the school. Your GPA, you still have to take care of business in the classroom at high school, right? and
Hmm.
and then you have a better shot, at if you want to go to, it doesn't just have to be Minnesota State. It could be any school that's out of your area, out of your state. You have a better shot taking care of business in the classroom.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, also with the budget part, let's go with the budget part a little bit. So I
Okay.
remember you broke it down to me. An in-state tuition kid costs this much, an out-of-state tuition kid costs this much, and we have a bucket of money. We have our pool of money. So,
Right.
all things being equal, it's going to cost you as an institution and as a staff to go get that out-of-state kid than it is to go ahead and stay locally. Even if the talent isn't too far to spare or it's not a definite need, it just makes business sense. I got to get the in-state kid more so than getting the
Yeah.
out-of-state kid because financially it just makes sense, right?
100%. That's what
Yeah.
I'll use the same analogy with the Illinois kid, and now I'm gonna take a Minnesota kid. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Same Illinois kid 4.0. Minnesota kid 3.0, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still cheaper for me to go get this Minnesota kid at the Division II level than it is for the Illinois kid, even though the Illinois kid has a 4.0, which makes it almost where it needs to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if I have one spot and the talent level is the same, they run the same times, they're all levels are equal,
Mm-hmm.
the edge will probably go to that Minnesota kid, right? And that's not saying that we probably won't try. Us here at Minnesota State, we'll probably try to go still get both,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
still gonna get both.
Yeah.
But if we're if
Yeah.
we're if we're calling it out right now and saying like, hey, there's one spot available, and the talent level is equal, but this kid has this and this kid got that. Well, my scholarship money and what we have available is probably better suited to go to the Minnesota kid. All right.
Yep. Yep.
But again, I
Absolutely.
stress we will
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
get both.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But I mean, I think parents, high school coaches don't understand that, right? They're like, hey, how
Right.
come you ain't getting my kid? He's this, and that. Well, hey, just not talent, not even talent football. Like, from a budget perspective, us on the business side, it makes more sense for us to get a kid locally or in state or those touching states because financially it makes us stronger and better.
Right.
Within our organization, we love to get your kid. It's not a problem. It's even not a football thing. It's what our rules are that we have out of state tuition, which costs more. And I think people don't understand that type of process at all. They just, hey, my kid is as good. He should be playing here. Well, there's a little bit of different factors that need to come in, especially when we start to talk about the scholarship money. Um,
Right.
they need to understand. Um, let's talk about now more specifically California and Texas and Florida. One, are there stigma in any of those states when they come to you? Like, is there a stigma? And I mean the negative
Here,
stigma I'm
here,
talking
here,
about.
here here's the
Kids leave. Are they spoiled? Give me a little bit
here's
more
the
insight on that.
stigma. Here's the stigma that we have with guys in those areas. And notice that you said Texas, Florida, California, all the warm states, right?
Yes.
There's snow in Minnesota, right? And the little white stuff that comes out, yeah. Not very many people can live in those conditions for very long,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're not used to it, if you're not accustomed to it. So it's hard for a kid from Florida, right, who's never seen snow a day in his life to come up. Everything's all good in July. It's all good in August. September, we getting a little, what's going on? October, we like, all right, the temperature didn't drop, but I'm okay. I just put on a coat. When
Yeah.
November hits and you start seeing that little white stuff come on the ground, you're like, Coach, I ain't never seen snow a day in my life. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
But
Like
yeah, but
it's
the difference between those, and this is the mindset I have. The difference between those states. Florida now has Division II schools that are starting to come around. They've been getting more and more every year. They seem to have it.
yep.
Texas, we already know, has Division II schools and NAI schools and so on and so on. Us here in California, we don't have it. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the part that you better really adjust and get over, not adjusting to the weather, and then not letting that be a roadblock if you want to be a part of playing football at that collegiate level. Because the closest Division II to us is in Colorado.
Hmm.
Or we got Western Oregon. I'm sorry, Western Oregon and Central, but Western Oregon rains a lot. Central Washington snows as well. So we have to
Hmm.
get it adjusted to the climate to be very, very different. And I think coaches, and this is just my personal opinion, I think coaches kind of get tired of California kids complaining because I don't want to invest in you 1-2 years and you leave, right? Because of the weather or because of the stigma. And it's just the reality truth. It's not kids. Kids are very talented. Kids have all the skill set, but you have to be able to adjust to your surroundings and your environment too if you want to be sustainable and stay there. And I think we as California recruit kids do ourselves a disservice by not coming out to you guys' camps, by not making ourselves available to you, except until we get to JC when they have no more, they have to go where they're going to go if they want to continue to play.
Right.
But high school kids, it's like, yo, I got the talent. I can play there. I know I can go there and be developed. I can be in the program for a year and a half, and I'm rock and rolling my junior year or my redshirt sophomore year. I'm in the mix. We got to figure out a way to crack that wall. And it's not your job, coach, to do that. It's going to be our part as high school coaches on the California side of like, we have to get our kids used to saying, you got to go away. You're going to go away if you really want to take advantage of these opportunities. And that's just the fact. It's just what it is, the reality.
Yeah. But from
And
a
it's sad,
talent
kind of
perspective,
sad. Yeah.
But from a talent perspective, there's like it's California kids, and like I said, when I was at Bethany College, when I was at Missouri Valley, all the other places that I've been, yeah, California, we can rock as far as talent wise. That's
Yeah.
never been the case. That's never been the bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is when it hits the fan,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
Well, I
like
mean, but that's what I'm saying. We got to do a better job preparing our kids because they got to understand there is no taco shop. There is no 7-Eleven open at all night. There is no, those things aren't available to you when you go to these places. They're not there.
right.
And I think it's the best way to look at it. It's a business trip now. When I step
Yep.
out of this state and I go on this campus, it's all business. I'm here to
Yep.
get a degree and I'm here to play football. That's my job. Everything else, if it's there, it's a bonus. If it's not there, I'm cool with that as well. I'm good.
Right.
I got to make it a
Right.
business trip. And I think we have to reset our mind until we get Division II schools back in California. That's the mindset we got to have. When we get more NAIA schools in California, that's the mindset we got to have. It's a business trip when we step out of the state and get ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
Man, I just love what you guys are doing, man. I love what the conference is doing because you guys do attract California kids. It's not like you guys are no's. You guys really do make a conscious effort to get California kids. I know you guys are specifically more JUCO, more so than high school, but you guys do look at high school kids as well, strongly. And I know Bemidji's making an active. They're now penetrating California. Sioux Falls comes to California.
Yep.
Now they're starting to really blossom here, and I think that's a tribute to you guys because you guys and a few other schools because the talent from California that's come here actually does really, really well. They get the opportunity and they're sticking. They're staying.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. They're actually
That's
sticking and
it.
staying.
That's it.
Yeah, so I think that's really, really huge, man. And I love your program, man. I'm a filter and push kids to that camp. I think a lot of our kids need to come out to your guys' camp and really showcase what they got. Showcase what they got and see if that's an opportunity to home for you
We'd
guys.
love to have them.
Yeah, man. I know you would. I know you love. I gotta get you some DBs. Yeah, get you some DBs out there, man, to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Man, anything else you want to talk about, Coach? Anything?
Like I said, man, I appreciate you having me a ton.
Yeah.
Right, just the notoriety and to get Minnesota State a little bit more out there, right, and just sit here
Mm,
and talk shop a little bit with you, man, is awesome. I really appreciate it.
yeah, man, I love it. And then if there's any questions, we'll leave it open for a few more minutes. If there's any questions from anybody out there, if they want to ask a question to Coach directly, please shoot it on the screen so he can go ahead and answer it. But I really just admire what you guys are doing and what you've done. The way you built that, you've helped build that program in the last couple of years. You've been a really intricate piece. I know Coach often would say the same thing. I like the diversity of you guys' staff, of you guys' community, of you guys' team. I think that pays a really big contributes a lot to you guys' success, I would say. And it's just
Yeah,
beautiful. I think it's a good thing. Well, man, behind the
appreciate
scenes,
that.
Hicks, is there any questions out there or comments we had?
Yeah, just do it on the screen for you, brother.
Okay. Coach, what's the game week? Game week of practice. I can't even see because it's small. I'm sorry. My eyes are going bad.
So, because
What's
ask
the
the
game
coach,
week of
yeah,
practice
what's
like?
the game week of practice like for you guys Monday through Friday and Saturday?
Okay. I'll start off on Sunday. Sunday, we get the players off. Right? Sunday, they have completely off. The only thing they do is they go to the training room and, heal up all their injuries and get all their stuff checked up. Monday, we do a lot of film work, right? We'll clean up, the game before, Saturday's game. And then we'll start moving into the next phase, previewing, who it is that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. Then we go Tuesday. We do some walkthrough stuff, in the afternoon, but in the morning we'll do, game plan stuff. We'll have an extensive walkthrough in the afternoon. It's borderline like a practice, but obviously they don't have any pads, shoulder pads, helmet, anything on. But it's treated like, hey, this is what you're gonna see. Wednesday we'll do some more obviously film study, right? Film is basically every day. So, but we do a little bit of a walkthrough in the morning, and then we got practice in the afternoon. Um, Thursday, very similar, practice. And then we actually practice on Fridays when we got shock practice. Um, where guys will run around for about an hour, right? Guys will get rolling. Then Saturday, we do the team stuff, special team stuff, and then go to work. And then we'll repeat the cycle.
Absolutely. And what's that freshman that looking like for a classroom for a freshman? Like, do they got study table or guys that got below
Oh
certain
yeah.
GPA got
So
study table?
yeah, I've failed to mention about study table,
Yeah.
but that is very important.
Hmm.
Monday through Thursday, guys are going to be required to get a certain hour of study table, especially freshmen that come in, transfers who also need a little bit of help, and some of our guys who are homegrown that still need some little bit of help, right? Well, we're going to make sure that you get your study table in. Like I said, we got a team GPA of 3.26. We take that stuff serious.
Absolutely. Do you guys provide
That's a
services to help them out? Like, oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. But no, that goes into what I was getting ready to say. That's accredited to Coach Taylor, who, like I said, he's the other defensive coordinator. He's the one that runs the show a little bit, man. But he's also the academic coordinator, right? So he runs a tight ship when it comes to that. We got tutors, we got academic services, we got people who come to study table to help out. We constantly are doing coaches checkups, whether that be make sure you're in class or you're coming in, talking to a coach one on one, seeing what you need help in, so we can go ahead and help develop in that area too. Bigger than football.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's walk away with a degree. Yeah, I know when this gets replayed, it'll be a bunch of questions. Yeah, that's how it usually is. But on the live session, I
Yeah.
would wish they would ask more questions. Now, last question, one of the questions I have: financial aid combined with scholarship. Like,
Uh-huh.
do you guys do on a need basis with your scholarship? Does it a kid counts on FAFSA? Is that different from a guy that needs a full? Walk me through that process a little bit.
So in moment of transparency here, Coach Hoffner deals with a lot of that stuff,
Ah,
right? I'm
okay,
fortunate enough to just bring the guys talented to the table, and I let Coach Hoffner do that. So I'm gonna
okay.
tell you, like I tell everybody else, that's a Coach Hoffner question.
I got you. I got you. I got you. I respect that. I respect that 100%. That makes sense. That makes a lot. Yeah, he's a money guy. He
Oh
he
yeah,
distributes the money, so I get it.
he's the
Um,
money guy.
man, brother, I appreciate. I know you're in Charlotte right now. You're at the convention, and you
Oh
took
yeah,
some time out to come holler at me, man, and talk to me, and I really do
of
appreciate it,
course.
man. I mean, everybody out there, go follow this man. If you got questions, hit him up on Twitter. If you got questions, or hit him up on email. And then from you, Coach, without your camp dates, I'm gonna look online. But if you got specific camp dates where you think it's more of an advantage for kids from out of state to come to, please send it over to me because I'm gonna shoot it to all the juniors that's around our county to make sure they
All
have opportunity.
all of our camps are
Okay, I
prime.
got you. Got you. I got them. I got them. Man, I've got one more. What's James saying? Oh, how's the housing?
How's the
Dorms
housing?
and campus. Mhm.
Okay, so it's awesome. I mean, we got plenty of options to choose from. Kind of a first come, first serve type basis or whatnot. We got 15,000 students, right? Talking about 15,000 students. We got off campus housing, all types of apartments that are around the school too. So housing is awesome, and they're really really good to work with.
You guys are the third largest school, right, as far as attendance in Minnesota, right? Or it's Minnesota? Oh, so it's Minnesota than
Minnesota
you.
and us.
I
Yep.
thought Duluth was right there too, but it's Minnesota and you guys. Okay, perfect.
Nah.
Nah. Yeah.
Nah.
I mean,
We're the
hey.
second.
Okay,
We'll,
cool,
we'll,
cool.
we'll,
So,
we'll
man,
take
that's what
that
I'm talking about.
mantle.
So, yeah. I got you, man. Nah, man, brother, appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time. I want you to get back to networking and doing your thing. Oh, we keep getting other questions now. Everybody want to ask now. What's this
Oh,
question?
yeah. Good more. Keep it. We got time. That's all right.
Yeah. Who? What that? I can't see what that says, James.
No worries.
It's a little
James was just
small.
saying thanks, Coach. He says he's got some DBs that he wants to send Coach's way as well.
All right.
Absolutely,
Send them
man.
over.
If you're a high school coach on here, send them. Send them to his email. It's go to. I don't want you. You don't have to blast it. They need to do a little homework. Go on the website, Minnesota State Mankato. Go to the football. Look at the coaches and pull his email. And go ahead and send it over there to him. And this is another thing, Coach. Before we get up, what is the best way kids can send film to you and want to be evaluated by you? Is there a form on your
Uh,
line online, or do you want them to send it to you guys directly?
no, you know what though? We do a lot of like if you want to send it to X, right? X, Twitter,
Uh huh.
whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, right? If you want to do that, we do a lot of stuff through there. I mean, email works fine too, right? But I even got some guys, hitting my Instagram up, check out
Yeah.
you check out the Instagram stuff too. All right.
Yeah.
Hit the Instagram
And then
up
also,
and yeah.
if a coach wants to send you, like, coaches got spreadsheets. Should they just email you the spreadsheets with all the kids' information
Yeah.
on there?
Yes, yeah, sure, yeah.
So you guys
Send
can
the
upload it?
spreadsheets
Yeah,
over. Absolutely.
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 Yeah. And then
Now what
any
I don't have a thousand I
we'll,
don't
we'll
have a
end on
thousand
this one.
unread.
We'll end on this. Any advice you want to give to a kid on this film before he sends it to you?
Make sure you put your best plays first. Put your best plays first. And just make sure it's not 30 seconds long. I want to be able to see you move, right? I want to be able to see you do everything that we're looking for out of that position. All right. So
Okay.
just make sure you put your best plays first, make it extensive and make it good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Brother, salute. I appreciate you coming out, man. Hanging out with me for an hour of your day, man. Go out, like I
Oh
said,
yeah.
go out there and network, do your thing, and I'll hit you up next time I'm out there in the Twin Cities.
For sure, man. Got to. Got to.
Yeah,
Appreciate you having me.
absolutely, man. Stay on. We about to log off. Hey, straight from the horse's mouth. We'll see you guys next week.